First things
Okay.
first, how are you?
Yes, the December was little bit both sides. In the first time of December, we were very sad to have the message, okay, our tour is not working in January. And this is very hard. This the second tour with the second album. It's not working. And then we decide to have, okay, we have a release day on the 31 of December. And now we plan a spontaneous concert. And we now we are very happy. Okay, we think it should work, and we have a Taverna concert, a streaming concert, and a streaming release event, and now we are excited about it.
This new album, Memento Mori, is number 10, if I'm not mistaken. Is that a significant number for you? Does that mean something special?
Oh. Yeah, a little bit. 10 is a big number, and but Feuerschwanz has different periods of growing up, and we have an early time, and then a time with the first tours and so on, and now since 2018 we decide to have a change to go to metal, and we want to. Our goal was to make a mixture, to have a new style of folk metal, and yes, this is very very interesting, and this is only 3 years, 3 years. Yes.
One question about the early days.
Okay.
Because I've spoken to other bands who kind of started in a comedic fashion, like Steel Panther and those kinds of bands. And
okay.
I think similar to your story, initially in the beginning, they weren't taken seriously, but you're all very good musicians. So was that difficult to kind of make people realize that you were good musicians?
Yes, in the first days of Feuerschwanz, not every member of the band are very good musicians, and we have differences in the band. And from the year 2004 and to 2008, we have there's changing of musicians, 13 changes, and then this is the second period of Feuerschwanz, since 2008. There, Hans Platz was coming, and 2007, Ben Metzner was coming, and then the masterminds were in the band, and then everything changed year for year.
And you mentioned in the last 3 years you've been moving more towards kind of a metal sound, and the last couple of years, but it goes back even further, I would say. The band has been growing in popularity as well. So how do you see those two? Because I would say since Sex is Moose, you kind of you did really well. The albums are received really well. So do you see that? Does that go together with the musical change that you make?
Yes. This is a little bit the growing to more popularity was a little bit the growing to deeper lyrics by Feuerschwanz, and
okay.
That's right. That's exactly right. Since Sex is Moose, we changed a little bit, and one album for former Aufs Leben, there was the first deep ballad and so on. It was step by step to deeper themes.
Well, there's one song on the album in particular I want to talk about, but before we do that, the album Memento Mori and that title track, there's a line in it, Darum sind wir hier, darum leben wir jetzt. That is that kind of the philosophy of what Feuerschwanz is?
Yes, this is the main philosophy, and a little bit to have fun in these moments of life, and this is the kern, the DNA of Feuerschwanz from beginning.
This is maybe not a good question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. On the internet and in movies and everything, they sometimes say that Germans don't have a sense of humor. So what would you how do you, let me put it differently, how would you describe the German sense of humor?
Yes, this is totally right. Germans have a problem with humor. We are a little bit traumatized, and we are not so relaxed with humor, and so it's a little bit difficult to bring the humor in directions of not so humor music, and this is very shocking for Germans when there appears a humor song. Yes, and the problem of Germans are the relaxation is not so good. So when they have a problem, they are very angry. when they have a problem with humor, they are very angry. So Feuerschwanz had very cool fans, but very angry people on the standing beside, and now it's better when we are growing up to an adult band. Yes, it's better now.
Well, because if I look at the footage of the live shows and when it was still possible, I mean, everybody was really excited and was singing the lyrics and everything. So there is a really you create a really fun atmosphere in your music, and as we mentioned before, that's really important. So yeah, this is not a silly question, but why is that important? Why is it important to kind of see the joy in life?
Yes, this is a really good question, but not so easy to answer it. It's in me. This is my heart is wants to have a good, high energetic time on the stage, and this is my goal. And the humor is only a message to bring it up, but I want a high energy.
So that's interesting. So with Memento Mori, for instance, Das 11. Gebot was released last year. So yes. This is. Were you planning on making an album this quickly? Did you already have all those songs ready, or was that kind of made during lockdown and decided, well, we have the time, let's just go for it?
Yes, in the pandemic time, it's very special, and we planned. We had a problem with live playing, and so we decide, yes, okay, what shall we do? And we make a new album now, and it was very hard to have the motivation about it, because we have no tour with Das 11. Gebot, and then the next album, it's very special, and it was hard. But so Memento Mori is coming, and he's a brother of Das 11. Gebot, or sister, and both the songs have a really deep connection with with it. And this is yes, this is so there's no so long time between the albums. You hear it.
No, because that's what I was wondering. Because when you're just sitting at home and there's no tours or anything, to create that energy, to create that excitement, that must be difficult. And you can hear it on this album. It is very energetic and it is very optimistic.
But yes, it's very energetic, but there is not a relaxed party song on this album. It's a high energetic album, but our party songs are on the cover album, more on the cover album. So we writing the songs in the lockdown time last winter, and you can hear it a little bit.
Right. When was this is you mentioned earlier, kind of getting more interesting or more deeper lyrics. So a song like Das Herz Eines Drachen, when was that written?
Yes, this is a deep song of my biography. It's a song about a son and his father, and the son wants to have a deeper connection, emotionally connection, and the father was in the war, and he's a little bit dumb or numb. He can not so show his feelings, and the son thinks, okay, he don't like me, and long time ago, he's checking out, okay, he has a heart, and I have the same heart like my father. And so this is the message of the songs. Okay, the son comes to his father in the last.
And like you mentioned, there's always a bit of autobiography in those songs. So is that true for everything? That even though if it's a party number, you still put something of yourself in there?
Yes, since some years, we have a deep number with Hody. His mother was dying 2007 or so. And yes, this is a tradition of Feuerschwanz since 8 years or so, to have one deeper song on the album.
And for you then, are those fun songs to write them for you as a challenge, or do they just happen?
Yes, this is a good question. This is on every album, it's a little bit other way to write, and this time we had a lockdown time, and now the fun songs was not so really easy, and the harder battle songs were very cool. Yes.
With that in mind, then, why do you think that is? Are you kind of ready to take on the world then? Is it kind of because you've been sitting at home for so long, you kind of want to go out there, you kind of feel that energy again? Is that why the battle songs kind of...
Yeah, the advantage of Feuerschwanz is the fantasy, the part. We are fantasy nerds, and we are used to live in Tolkien worlds or in other worlds, and so it was really easy to make some images of our universe and the Feuerschwanz universe, and live there and have their battles. Yes, this is a cool thing of fantasy people.
Is there one maybe movie or series or book that you've been reading or watching lately that you can recommend to people?
Yes, now the Netflix series Das Rad der Zeit, The Wheel of Time, is out, and I try to read it, but it's very long. So, okay, it needs more time, and yes, Wheel of Time will my book reading for the next years.
The entire 2022.
Yes, but I like especially The Witcher, the universe of The Witcher, and the David Rothfuss. I don't know the title. Zeit der Stille oder so, Time of Stillness. I don't know. You know David Rothfuss? It's a very great author, and yes, I like fantasy.
Okay, well, that's good. Does that make it? Obviously, it does, but in the sense, like I mentioned, this is album number 10. Does it become tricky to find new things to sing about or new topics and stuff?
Yes, when we decide to have more fantasy in the lyrics, the problems are solved. But we are coming from the medieval scene of Germany, and in the beginning we only singing about the medieval time, the historic medieval time, a little bit, and then fantasy comes, and now it's better for us to have the historic themes and the fantasy.
Final question then. We've talked about kind of the growing popularity in the last couple of years. What is the ambition of the band? Because did you kind of envision where you are now when you started this band?
Yes, also now we find out, okay, the metal scene is very big. It's a worldwide scene, an international scene, and we want the same success like in Germany, from in all over the world. And this is a new goal for the next 10 years. And it could be cool to have some English songs in our lyrics. It could be, this is very exciting. Okay, we are German-speaking band, but now we are an international metal band. Okay, what shall we do? And I'm excited about the future.
Right, and one thing I've liked in the last couple of years, it seems like it doesn't matter if you sing in English as much as it used to. There's French bands, there's bands from all over the world that sing in their native language, and it still resonates. Even if people can't understand the words, it still touches them.
Yes, this is a very cool thing. The resonating of the flow of the lyrics, and you feel more the flow, and this is cool. That many international speakers feel the lyrics.
Well, one last thought then. What do you hope? Because obviously we don't know what's going to happen next year. I mean, everybody thought that this year was going to be better. It wasn't. Yes. So maybe next year. But what are your, as a band, because you, like you mentioned in the beginning, you kind of start working towards something, then you have to shut it down because it can't happen. What are your hopes for next year?
Yes, our hope is to have a festival season. So the festivals with more normal live playing since former times. Like former times. Yes, this is our hope, and to have in the year 2023 the next tour, and yes, step by step in the normal live playing.
Sounds good. Peter, may I thank you for your time?
Oh, thank you too.